Hello everyone, and welcome to Coming Home Connection's celebration of Dia de los Muertos. I'm Jody Powers, the Executive Director of Coming Home Connection. I'm thrilled you could join me today in helping us celebrate our dedicated caregivers and honor those people who have passed in our care. We've held this event here at the Design Center for the last 2 years, but as you know, COVID has changed much of how we do things. So we've teamed up with the Santa Fe New Mexican and to bring you this Facebook Live event. We have a great lineup of entertainment and interesting features that I hope you'll enjoy over the next 30 minutes. I know you're going to enjoy Santa Fe's own Johnny Vee and his cooking segment that will teach you how to make pumpkin ravioli with sage brown butter. I know that sounds pretty good, and I know it's tasty, so I can't wait to see how he puts this together. Later on, I know you're going to enjoy the music of Mariachi Azteca, a local tradition here in Santa Fe. And be sure to stay tuned for Rob Martinez, our state historian, and explore all the different ways Dia de los Muertos is celebrated around the world and its cultural significance right here in New Mexico. We have a short video of past events, as well as a tour of Casa Cielo, our end-of-life residence. Get an inside look at our great facility and learn more about this comprehensive service we provide. As I said earlier, Dia de los Muertos is a time in which Coming Home celebrates and recognizes our dedicated caregivers. They work so hard for all those people in their homes and make such a difference. I also want to give a shout out to my Casa Cielo caregivers as well, as they provide such dedicated service to people who have been diagnosed with terminal illnesses. We are always looking for people to become caregivers. If you have any interest, please contact our office. We provide training and guidance for our caregivers and have a training scheduled in early December. In the event you're not familiar with Coming Home Connection, we provide in-home health care service to those in need in the Santa Fe area. From grocery shopping and doing errands and caregiving in the home. We have a medical equipment lending program where for a small donation, you can find a walker, a wheelchair, maybe a cane, a shower stall or a stool that fits in your shower, a scooter, and other kinds of equipment that you may need temporarily in your home. We also provide navigation services, helping clients get all the services they need that they are entitled to. One of our most significant programs is our end-of-life residence, Casa Cielo. Casa Cielo is a residential end-of-life program located in the Montecito Santa Fe Senior Living Complex. We provide caregiving for those people with terminal diagnoses and for whom dying at home may not be an option. Over the past year, we have served more than 26 residents. However, more than 75% of those people do not have the ability to pay for their stay. And believe me, it's expensive to provide 24/7 quality care. Casa Cielo relies primarily on donations from people just like you. Look, I know that COVID has been hard on all of us, but we are still relying on people like you to help us keep the doors of Casa Cielo open. Your donation of $25 can make a significant difference. Today, we are launching our Friend-to-Friend Raiser, and our campaign goal is to raise $5,000 by November 21st. I encourage you to go to our website, cominghomeconnection.org, and make your contribution now. And then, once you've donated, I invite you to challenge a friend, and maybe two, to match your donation and help us reach our goal of $5,000. I know we can do this with your help. Let's keep the doors of Casa Cielo open for those who need this program. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors and the people who helped us put all this program together. Century Bank, local banking right here in Santa Fe, Infinity Insurance Partners, providing commercial and personal lines of insurance here in New Mexico and in the Southwest. Mexico Lindo for letting us use his space, his furniture space right here in the Design Center to help us film. Home Instead and Ken Hendricks for his support. And finally, Chef Johnny Vee and Rob Martinez. I'd like to thank you all.
Sigo perdonando a todos desde así, pero no me digas cuando así me dijiste a mí, por eso vivo penando. Esa negra que la quiero ver, con su rebozo de seda que le traje de mí. Esa negra que la quiero ver, con su rebozo de seda que le traje de mí.
Hi, my name is Sangia Pinzok, and with Coming Home Connection, I work as a staff member in the office as well as a caregiver in Casa Cielo, which is my true passion. I'm currently working towards my nursing degree, so to have the opportunity to work with residents of all different walks of life is an opportunity that I'm extremely grateful for.
Hi, my name is Oliver Knudsen. I've worked with Coming Home Connection for quite a few years. I work with clients in the home, but I also work with our hospice clients at Casa Cielo. One of my favorite things about Casa Cielo is it affords us the opportunity to work with clients who might not have the ability to receive that kind of care at the end of their lives. We are able to offer safety, compassion, dignity, and kindness to people who might not be able to access that otherwise.
Hi, my name is Tashi Pinzok. I'm in Tibetan origin. I came to Santa Fe in 1991, and I have been working with Coming Home Connection for over a year, and with Casa Cielo End of the Life facility a little over 6 months. I really enjoy working and feel honored to serve all the residents at Casa Cielo because it involves caregiving, which is I really enjoy and is my passion, and with compassion, which is my spiritual practice.
Hello, I'm Robert Martinez, State Historian of New Mexico. I want to talk to you about Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. It's a tradition from Mexico that's steeped in Roman Catholicism and also Mexican Indian traditions from the Valley of Mexico. There's Christian, Catholic, and pagan roots for these expressions of love and memory for our ancestors. Before I talk about Dia de los Muertos, let's talk about Halloween, All Hallows Eve. That's All Saints Eve. This is a day of preparation for November 1st, which is All Saints Day. So October 31st is typically All Saints Eve, All Hallows Eve, Halloween. It's also a Celtic Gaelic tradition that celebrates Samhain. This is the end of the light period and the beginning of the dark period of the year, going from summer and into winter. It's very common for Christian traditions to be based on pagan ideas, including the days we celebrate Christmas and certain aspects of Easter. Same thing with Halloween. All Saints Day, November 1st, is when we commemorate saints, those people who lived a Christian life to a heroic level and are now living in God's presence, according to Christian and Catholic tradition. November 2nd is traditionally All Souls Day. This is the day that we pray for and remember those people who have passed away, whether it's our ancestors or people we knew and loved recently. So what happens in Mexico for Dia de los Muertos is a colorful celebration of life and death, two realities of human experience. And it is a time to paint faces, to remember, to pray, and attend Mass, and also to eat and drink. In Mexico, what they do is they take flower petals, I believe they're marigold, and they put them all over the ground, leading from the grave of the ancestors to the home of their family. And there they prepare delicious food like tamales, pozole, menudo, mole poblano, all kinds of delicious food that we have here in New Mexico. And the family celebrates and remembers and commemorates their loved ones and their ancestors. While this is a Native American concept, the idea of remembering and commemorating ancestors, it's not an idea that is altogether alien to Spanish or Southern European or Northern European ideas as well when you go back to the nature religions or even within traditions of Roman Catholicism in the West and Greek Orthodox in the East. Jewish and Muslim practices also cannot be ignored as they contribute to this cultural mix. So, Dia de los Muertos is not from New Mexico. It's a recent arrival with Mexican immigrants. When I was a kid in the early 70s, I would go trick-or-treating. We'd go from house to house dressed as tigers or Batman, and with our bag open, we'd say trick-or-treat, and we'd be given, hopefully, a treat, and we'd go home. You'd perform a trick if they didn't give you anything, but usually it wasn't anything too bad, maybe knocking over the jack-o'-lantern or something. But that's what we did, and that's very American, what we did here. My father was from Mora, New Mexico, and I asked him once, Dad, well, what did you guys do for Halloween or for All Souls Day? He said, well, we just would go around and push over outhouses. So there was a lot of trickery involved and not a whole lot of treats, I don't think. So this idea of putting up ofrendas, these altars of memory, come from Mexico and have been a part of the New Mexican cultural expression for a few decades now. And like the quinceañera tradition, it's become part of all of us. It's not just for Mexicans or the people from Mexico or Mexicans in the USA. It's for everybody because we're all part of the same human family and we all have loved ones who have passed on and we want to remember and celebrate them. And it's also a reminder that we are all mortal and we're here just for a temporary period, for a small amount of time really, if you look at history. So that's it. That's my presentation about Dia de los Muertos. Have a wonderful Day of the Dead and talk to you another time. Adios. Goodbye.
Hi everybody, my name is Mark Nicely and I work for Amber Care in Santa Fe. And I just wanted to take a minute to express my gratitude for the presence and the effect that Casa Cielo has in our community. We actually need more of these resources in our community at this time. And for people who don't have any resources or don't have a place to go at end of life or are desiring to have a quality experience and to pass away with dignity, Casa Cielo provides an amazing resource. Please consider giving any time or any place you can to this great community resource. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marcus Herrera and I've been with Coming Home Connections approximately almost 10 years or so. I've been in healthcare since 2004 and worked in the local hospital here for about 8 years in the nursing float pool. And so I've been with Coming Home Connections and never looked back, and it's really nice to be able to give a comfortable place that is safe and warm for folks to be able to relax and rest. So thanks to be part of this company.
Hello, my name is Erlen Truitt. I'm a doctor of Oriental medicine. I learned about Coming Home Connections in Casa Cielo a few weeks ago when a friend and patient of mine needed end-of-life care. The caregivers and staff were all excellent, and it was a great experience to work with them. If there was ever a nonprofit that needed support, it's Coming Home Connections in Casa Cielo.
Hi, Chef Johnny Vee here from the Las Cosas Cooking School and Kitchen Shop. Recently, I was introduced to a wonderful foundation here called the Coming Home Connection. And it's a fantastic program that when I learned about it, I thought, gee, I'd be interested in being involved. So today, in honor of their Dia de los Muertos celebration, I'm going to show you a simple sort of Halloween recipe that I'd love it if you recreated. So we're in my beautiful kitchen at Las Cosas in De Vargas. We're going to make ravioli today. Some people, when they make a ravioli filling with pumpkin, they cut the pumpkin up and cook it on top of the stove or boil it. But that kind of, really, you lose all that yummy pumpkin flavor. What I do is I cut the pumpkin in half, cut off the stem. Be careful when you cut these because they're sturdy. And then I butter a cookie sheet, and without even removing my seeds, turn the cut side down, and I bake these for about 45 minutes at 400. Then when I took those off, this cookie sheet, that skin peeled right off and those seeds scooped right out. So don't worry about scooping the seeds until they're nice and soft and they were perfectly fork tender. Let them cool, and then what we have here is just pumpkin filling, pumpkin puree. Now I'm going to admit something on camera I have probably not done publicly. I'm not a pumpkin pie fan, but I love pumpkin and other things. So I wanted to make our filling, you know, seasonally seasoned, but not to taste like pumpkin pie. I cannot imagine a ravioli that tasted like pumpkin pie. Then what we're going to do is sauce it with a very classic sage brown butter sauce, which also is very, very simple and very classic. Okay, you're going to be surprised our pasta we're using are actually wonton wrappers. Now these are available everywhere. You can freeze them. If you don't use them all, wrap them tightly, throw them in the freezer. They thaw quickly, and they're actually not that expensive. I think 60 of them was under $3, okay? Notice I've got them wrapped up in some damp paper. You don't want them to dry out because they get brittle. Okay, so for our filling, simply, I'm going to take some of my pumpkin filling, my pumpkin meat, I guess we want to call that, and I'll show you this in a minute. So that's probably about 2 cups. Okay, then to add our seasoning, a little bit of kosher salt, some good chopped garlic. We want some good garlic in there. That will not taste like pumpkin pie. And then not very much cinnamon and nutmeg, okay? So that's probably a 1/4 teaspoon. And then I am going to add a little brown sugar, which is actually going to give it a nice little sweetness and also activate the caramelized pumpkin. So I want to mix this up pretty good. Now if you'll notice, I didn't mash this up so much that we lost all the texture. We've still got a little bit of the texture there, okay? Let me also say this recipe does work with butternut squash. Do the same thing, cut it in half and roast it. Okay. Now, to get ready for my sauce, because this is something you actually make the sauce when you're ready to serve it, okay? So what I've got here is some salted butter that I've melted, and then I turned it off. I don't want to brown it yet. And then I've got some water here that I'm going to generously salt. Because think about this, the salt is going to flavor those wonton wrappers. Let me do a couple of little cracked pepper, crunchy pepper in there. Okay, so I'm going to have my water ready to go. Now to plate this, I am basically going to cook the ravioli, put it on the plate, cover it with some Parmesan cheese, and then heat up this this butter, so that it is bubbling hot. And then I'm going to add a handful of fresh sage leaves. We're going to let those brown, and then that toasted sage with the butter is going to go right over the ravioli. Boom, ready to serve, okay? All right, so let me make some of our little raviolis here. I'll make a few so I've just got some water, okay? You might see a recipe that says brush the perimeter of the wonton with a brush of water. I just use my finger. Don't feel like it needs to be so wet. It's just a finger wide strip of just plain water, okay? Now I'm going to get myself a little spoon. Now you resist the temptation to overfill these, because if you do, they'll explode. And you just don't need, this is about probably a tablespoon. And then we're going to fold those corner to corner. No fancy edging, just simply do pinch them pretty tightly closed so that they, you don't want to lose that filling, okay? So once again, I would probably do, if I was doing these for a dinner, I'd probably give your people 6 to 8 per serving, okay? It also makes a great appetizer. Sometimes I'll do these for Thanksgiving and maybe do 3 or 4. Now, good point. At this stage, I could put these on a cookie sheet with parchment on them, throw them in the freezer just uncovered, give them about a half an hour to freeze, and once they're frozen, you can throw them in a Ziploc bag gently and have them ready to go. And then when you cook them, go ahead and cook them from frozen. Get your water boiling and cook them from frozen. Okay. All right. So one thing you do want to do, make sure your water is boiling, but then usually I do turn it down. You don't really want to throw ravioli in a rapidly boiling water because you'll end up with pumpkin soup. So, and then this is just table salt. There's a good point when you add salt to a pan that you're going to cook in, don't add the salt until the water starts to boil. Some cookware, even good cookware, this is by a company called De Meyer. It's a 7-ply saucepan. The salt can actually affect the bottom of it. So I've got a gentle simmer going here. So that's probably more salt than you think you would. And then, of course, we're not going to rinse our ravioli because we want that little bit of starch to be on there because that's going to give our butter sauce something to stick to. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and get my butter going, and I'll show you. So when you clarify butter, if you've ever seen butter, when you clarify it, you're actually skimming off that milk solid. For this case, we don't need to. The butter is actually, the milk part of the butter is going to be what browns. Okay? All right, I've got a nice boil, so I'm going to turn this back to medium and then gently drop our little ravioli in. So if this gets really boiling fast, turn it down so you don't lose all of your filling. And then I probably would say maybe 2 minutes for these. They cook really quickly because they're not frozen. A little bit longer if they're frozen. You're going to start to hear a little bubbling going on here with our butter. And then my neighbor has this gigantic sage plant. So she plucked all these nice sage leaves. I did wash and dry them. And since I'm only doing it one serving, I'll use, maybe 10 of these. So I wait till that butter really is just about to brown. Now what you could do with these if you need to serve 6 people, have a bigger pot, of course, cook them all, and then get your plates ready to go because you're going to want to go from here to the table. So it's a little tricky to do this too far in advance. But if you've got your water going, you've got your butter going, it's a pretty quick process. It's going to smell so good in here in a minute. Some little baby ones in here. So I will want that to actually brown, kids, okay? Don't let it burn because you will know if you've burned it. That won't be good. Okay. I'm going to gently lift these out of the water. You don't want water in your plate there, okay? And you could touch those and you would know that they're ready. All right, look at the color of that. Ooh, that is brown butter. So first, important, I'm going to put my Parmesan right on top because that is going to melt and become part of my sauce. And then you want to put that on there. And let me just separate our leaves. And I love to see those leaves right on the top. You do want to cook your sage, okay? Then I'm just going to put a little bit of chopped parsley. Remember to wash your parsley first, and then after you chop it, squeeze out that moisture. So look at how yummy that is. So that was 5 of those. It's quite rich. So that might be enough unless you're a big boy like me. So think about healthy. All your vegetarian friends will love this. You know, when I think about it, without I guess the brown butter would not work for the vegans. But you know what you could do is actually brown some olive oil with your sage and use that. Don't put Parmesan. But there's other vegan cheeses out there. Not that I tasted them, but they exist. So anyway, there is our pumpkin ravioli with sage brown butter. Please think about donating to the Coming Home Connection. I think the celebration actually starts right around the Day of the Dead. So go to their website, and it's such a great cause. We will be doing ongoing Zoom cooking classes through the winter. So our website is lascosascooking.com, and I really appreciate you checking in. And now I think we have to eat this.
Hi, I'm Celia Owens, volunteer coordinator at Coming Home Connection. We really need volunteers, so I hope you'll call me. I'm also a direct caregiver in homes and at Casa Cielo. I only wish all of you could have the opportunity that we do to see how even small things, or sometimes large supports, help people become resilient in difficult times. Be as generous as you can, and thank you for your donations.
My name is Jeff Sand. I'm a board member of Coming Home Connection. I was introduced to the organization through one of our clients that needed in-home care as his health declined as he was aging. He was quite a character, a strong personality, and he'd actually been through a number of different agencies and care providers that didn't work out. And then when he got connected with Coming Home Connection, they did very well, and they worked with him through the end of his life. After he passed away, I was invited to become a board member, and I said yes.
Hello, my name is Patrick Solis, and I'm the Executive Director for Amber Care Hospice for Northern New Mexico. I also have the distinct pleasure of serving as a current board member for Coming Home Connection's Casa Cielo. We are very, very grateful to be able to partner with our local entities and our local nonprofits, such as Coming Home Connections and Casa Cielo, to meet the hospice needs of our community.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Stess. I'm a retired physician and I am on the board of Coming Home Connection. I've served 2 terms as the board's president, and I'm particularly proud of the work that we're doing in providing home health care to needy citizens, and a new public hospice house that we've just recently opened is providing valuable care to so many people in Santa Fe. I hope you'll be generous and give what you can to help us provide more care to the people here in Santa Fe. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Mary Feit, and I'm a retired hospice nurse. I'm a new board member at Coming Home Connections, and I worked with Coming Home Connections as a nurse for many years before I retired. And I was very excited to hear about them opening a hospice house, because in my work as a hospice nurse, we oftentimes needed extra help for people who didn't have family or friends to take care of them. And it's a wonderful opportunity for someone to receive wonderful, safe, compassionate care at the end of their life. And I feel very proud to be a part of that organization now.
Hi, I'm Janet Swinton. I'm happy to be with you today and to have the opportunity to chat with you a little bit. I'm the current president of Coming Home Connection. We have a great group of volunteers here, professionals, and our board, and we would be delighted if you could join us in any way possible. We're looking for donations to help us keep going. We're looking for people to join our organization. And like I said, I'm delighted to be here speaking to you today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jody Powers, and I'm the Executive Director with Coming Home Connection. I'd like to share with you today a little about Casa Cielo, our end-of-life residence that we opened just about 1 year ago. Casa Cielo is an end-of-life residence located in the Montecito Santa Fe Senior Living Center. It is a 2-bedroom apartment designed to help people who are coming in with terminal illnesses. Come with me now and take a tour of what our apartment at Casa Cielo looks like. This is our entryway when you enter Casa Cielo, and the room here is mainly used by our caregivers to record their notes, to meet with family members, and we also keep medications in a locked safe in our closet here, and we do some other office work here as well. In the entryway that you see here, where the caregivers have a small office and we keep supplies, we also follow COVID guidelines and ask you to sign in at the guest book if you're a family member or a visitor, and we will take your temperature to make sure that you're not running a fever. We ask if you're ill or have been exposed to someone with COVID that you not come to Casa Cielo so that our residents can be safe. Casa Cielo has a pool of dedicated, well-trained, and compassionate caregivers. They are excited to be at Casa Cielo. They love the work that they do, and we've been told many times that their care made a difference for the family and for the person who is a resident at Casa Cielo. Casa Cielo does have a full kitchen, and we don't cook full-on meals, but if the family or the visitors provide the food that the resident needs, we're willing to prepare it, or oftentimes residents have food brought in or pre-cooked by a family member. But we do have storage space for food for a resident, and of course, we save all their refrigerated items and they're carefully labeled. Casa Cielo does have a spacious dining and living area. Here at the dining table, oftentimes family members eat snacks or they sit around and have tea and coffee with the caregivers. And it is a very warm and well-lighted space. There is a patio outside that oftentimes family members, if the weather permits, can sit outside and enjoy the views. As you can see, our two-bedroom apartment has a spacious and well-lit living area, and you can see the patio out through the sliding doors. When the weather's nice, it does face sort of southwest, and you can enjoy the warm weather and the sunlight. This is one of two bedrooms in our apartment. It is well equipped with a hospital bed. It has a television and amenities. We have lots of blankets and pillows and photos on the wall that help a resident to feel comfortable. Each resident has their own bathroom. They are well equipped with toilet assists and with shower chairs, and we also have wheelchairs available to help people move around. This is our second bedroom at Casa Cielo, and as you can see, it's equipped very much the same with a hospital bed, lots of light, a television, dresser drawers, seating, a closet, and of course, they have their own bathroom. Our hearts really do belong to Casa Cielo. We are dedicated to the work that we do, and we are excited to provide this service to the Santa Fe community, but we can't do it without your help. Join us today in our Friend to Friend Raiser and go to the Coming Home Connection website, click on the Donate button, and make a donation, and then reach out to two of your friends and challenge them to match your donation. We need to raise more than $5,000 before the end of November. Join us in helping keep the doors of Casa Cielo open. Thanks so much for taking this tour with me around Casa Cielo, and I hope you will consider making a donation. I'd like to thank our Platinum sponsors for their generous support and donations to this project. Infinity Insurance Partners, providing commercial and personal lines of insurance in New Mexico and throughout the Southwest, and Sanctuary Bank of Santa Fe, providing your personal and commercial banking needs right here locally. I'd also like to thank these sponsors for providing space and support services. Home Instead, providing in-home quality care here in Santa Fe. Mexico Lindo, offering authentic furniture from Mexico, located in a new space in the Design Center. Santa Fe's own chef Johnny Vee. Rob Martinez, our state historian, and Mariachi Azteca. Thank you to these sponsors. And finally, don't forget to help Casa Cielo by making a donation today. Donate today during our Friend to Friend Raiser and help us keep the doors of Casa Cielo open. Your donation can make a huge difference. Please donate today. Go to cominghomeconnection.org, click on the Donate button, and make your donation today and challenge two friends to do the same. Thanks so much.